So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Richmond Rising Collaborative Stakeholder Committee. And today, November 13, is our meeting number 9, I believe number 10, actually. So I'm going to do a roll call so we can start at 6:10 p.m. And I'm just going to start with our community members. CSC community member Tomasa Espinosa. CSC community member Juana Hernandez. She's present. CSC community member Montserrat Gonzalez. Present. CSC community member Judith Rocha. CSC community member Curtis Rice. Project lead for City for Grid Alternatives. Project lead for Groundwork Richmond. Thank you. Project lead for Rich City Rights. Project lead for Trust for Public Land. Project lead for UC Berkeley. Project lead for Urban Chill. So I just want to confirm in the record that we have everyone is present except for Tomasa Espinosa. Unless she joins us later, we'll close the roll call for now. So just for everyone who's joining us today, I just want to remind you that the meeting that we are hosting today is hosted every first Wednesday of the month from 6 to 8 p.m. Today, we rescheduled this meeting because there were scheduled conflict with the partners in this sitting at this table. So, but in general, it's every first Wednesday of the month from 6 to 8 p.m. You can attend in person coming to Nevin Community Center, 598 Nevin Avenue, Richmond, California, 94801. And you can also attend virtually. That's our Zoom link. You can access through our website. And you can also join through phone with the numbers that are there. And all community members and members of the public must abide by the community agreements. If you don't know what the community agreements are, we have some printed in the table. So thanks so much for joining us today. I want to do the land acknowledgement, and if it's possible, I would like the people at the table to join me with this. If it's possible, I'll just pass the microphone to the side if that's okay with you. Oh, sorry, Annie, I cut you.
No. While Richmond Rising seeks to strengthen the economy, improve public health and the environment, particularly in the Iron Triangle, Santa Fe, and Coronado neighborhoods, we do so with the awareness that we occupy unceded Huichin and Karkin Ohlone territory. And just let them know of indigenous homeland. Indigenous people was done to advance colonization.
We acknowledge that capitalism and white supremacy are branches of colonization that have persisted throughout hundreds of years of oppression, are alive today and contribute to keeping Black, Indigenous, and all other people of color thriving. We further acknowledge that this country's political economy and social institutions were built on the forced labor of African people and stolen land through violent, systematic abduction from their homelands and enslavement over hundreds of years. We further acknowledge the exploitation of immigrant and refugee communities as modern forms of cheap and disposable labor are regularly carried out on stolen land. Thus, we acknowledge that we have been impacted and harmed by these histories and experiences imposed on our ancestors and communities. We further uplift the shared struggles among Black, Indigenous, and all people of color.
We also acknowledge that Indigenous people continue to live here, steward the land, and resist settler colonialism. Oh, okay. First. We conclude that all land acknowledgement is an active and involving statement and process. It requires us to recognize historical injustices and invite us to be active participants in our collective healing.
Thanks everyone for joining and sharing the land acknowledgement. So for everyone who's new to this meeting, we want to let you know what Richmond Rising is. The city of Richmond and 6 local organizations who are present in this committee, together known as Richmond Rising, received $35 million to bring health, economic, and environmental benefits to the Iron Triangle, Santa Fe, and Coronado neighborhoods. We call this the project area. And Richmond Rising is supported by the Strategic Growth Council's Transformative Climate Communities program. For the people who are joining us for the first time, the Collaborative Stakeholder Committee is a group that you're seeing right now sitting at this table that provides guidance and project implementation and holds us accountable in reaching our goals within this grant. We can make recommendations, provide input, assist project leads in implementing project activities. This group does not have a final decision-making authority, but project leads must consider the recommendations from the committee and also from the members of the public. So thank you for joining us. So for today, the first item in our agenda is a public comment that is not included in the agenda. So this space is open for members of the public to provide comments on items that are not included in our agenda setup for today. So I'm gonna say this in Spanish. I know Leti is already interpreting, but I want to say this in Spanish. Para las personas que nos acompañan el día de hoy, este es un espacio para comentar en temas que no están en nuestra agenda. Entonces, si alguien quiere comentar algo, tenemos un minuto por persona para comentar. ¿Hay alguna pregunta o hay algún comentario público en el público que está aquí presente o en nuestro Zoom? Is there anyone in our Zoom who's willing to provide public comment not on the agenda? Si hay alguien que quiere comentar algo en relación a un comentario público, por favor levante la mano, con gusto les paso el micrófono. Okay, we don't have anyone. Do we have anyone online? Okay, so let's record that there's no public comment on the agenda. So I'm going to go and ask the team sitting at this table if we can, if you were able to review and if we can approve the previous meeting minutes. I know we have new members in the committee, so every time we send you the presentation and the agenda, we also share the minutes with you. And these minutes are both in English and Spanish, so we have the information for you available. We try to do our best to have both things at the same time, and we sometimes post the Spanish information a little bit later, but can we get a motion to approve the previous minutes?
I make the motion to approve the previous minutes.
Thank you, yes. Thank you, Chris. So can we just get a quick vote for approving the minutes? And I am gonna do, think we're a lot of people today. Let's see, community member Curtis Rice. Vote, yes or no? Perfect. Community member Judith Rocha. Community member Juana, I always forget. Juana Hernandez. Gracias. Community member. No. You, Grid Alternatives. Project lead for Grid Alternatives. Project lead for UC Berkeley. Project lead for Trust for Public Land. Project lead for Quebec Lending Library. Thank you. Project lead for Governor Richmond. Community member Montserrat Martinez. Project lead for Urban Till. Thank you. So we approve the minutes by all the members who are present today at the committee. And now, this is the project status report time. So we are going to share the microphone with each of the partners so that they can share with us their up-to-date financials and grant expenditures to date for each project. And we want to share this with the public and the community. This will be posted to on our website. So if you're curious about it, you can also get a copy of our presentation over there if you don't have one already. And we post all this information with our minutes on the website for everyone who's joining us for the first time. So I'm going to talk about grantee, which is the city of Richmond's responsibility. So since last meeting, we scheduled, coordinated, and are currently facilitating CSC meeting number 10. And this includes translation, refreshment, and childcare, which is available today for this meeting. In terms of invoices and reports, we received the reimbursement check for invoice number 6, and we submitted invoice number 7 for months of August and September 2024, which all these people at the table and all the project partners supported us to do. And so working on the calendar will be sent to you with the new updates on the holiday schedule. We still don't have it, so we're still actively working on that, but we will let you know ahead of time. We also completed the year 1 annual progress report and submitted it to SCC. We're still pending to submit the leverage report with the updated data related to the timesheets that projects have provided us. And then we submitted amendments and modifications request for the grant agreement. Thank you everyone who supported us with this process, because this was a collective effort from the whole team, Richmond Rising team. Total expenditures reported up to date, $214,000, remaining budget $479,000. Plan work in the next 2 weeks. We are going to get reviews and approval from a strategic growth council for project report and invoice number 7, hopefully. And we'll get reviews and approval from the strategic growth council for our annual report. So we'll be getting back to you if we need any clarifications in relationship to this reviews from the state. I'm going to talk a little bit about neighborhood complete streets, which is the project where we are working on Ohio and Harbor Avenue. So the work that we completed since last meeting is we held our bi-weekly coordination meeting between the consultant team, which is CSW and city staff. This team attended the Richmond Wellness Trail Project sidewalk to discuss collaboration with this other project, and also collaborated with one of the nonprofits in the project area and other community stakeholders to create the draft living review design. And we finalized the materials for the Neighborhood Complete Streets Town Hall at Devon Community Center. You're going to hear us talk about this a lot. Matthias is letting us let you guys know that we have printed materials sobre that. A la gente que nos está acompañando, tenemos materiales impresos sobre todas estas presentaciones. Si ustedes no pueden ver, pueden tomar una de ahí en español y en inglés. For this project, we have spent $9,700. Our remaining budget is $5.1 million. The planned work that we have in the next 2 weeks is hosting the Neighborhood Complete Streets Town Hall at Levin Community Center here this Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. And for the next 2 weeks, we're also analyzing the information provided by the people who are joining us to add to this project, and we'll continue working on the project design. So I'm going to share the microphone with Annie from Trust for Public Land to give us an update on Richmond Wellness Trail.
Thank you. Hello, work completed since the last meeting for the Richmond Wellness Trail. As Beatrice just mentioned, we did a community site walk. It was a community engagement event, and we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of this meeting. We had a cost estimate submitted by our design consultant team called PlaceWorks, and we're reviewing that right now. There were coordination meetings with the project team and external stakeholders along the trail. And there's continued planning and coordination of the project, as well as community engagement. Total expenditures reported to date, $42,500. Remaining budget is $4,700,000. Planned work in the next 2 weeks is continued design work and engagement planning, and then permitting coordination work.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mayali. I'm the project manager for the e-bike lending library project. The work completed since last meeting is we applied for a building permit and got approval today. Woo-hoo! We have been coordinating with the city to explore additional funding and programmatic opportunities to ensure deliverables are completed on time. Our total expenditures to date are approximately $100,000 and remaining budget is $2.3 million. And the planned work in the next 2 weeks is pay for the building permit fees. Woo-hoo.
This way.
Thank you so much. I'm Investor Kante, project manager for TCC for World Alternatives. The work that we completed since our last meeting was just weekly, resilient homes team project management meetings. We also conducted, resilient homes, year-end review, which is informing our process for our 2025 program planning. Total expenditures to date, $334,036.56. The remaining budget is $6.6 million. A planned work for the next 2 weeks are resilient homes mellow scheduled for the first week of December, and as well as tomorrow participating in the TCC tour with FCC as well.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. My name is Shane Fields, representing Urban Tilt tonight. There's 4 Urban Tilt projects, so this is just one. Basis of relations, the work completed since the last meeting, our conservation team installed 5 additional drip irrigations, water efficiency improvements for the Iron Triangle homeowners since early October, with a total annual water savings estimated at 38,400 gallons per year. They hired 2 additional community members into permanent roles with the watershed restoration and water conservation teams. Total expenditures to date, $174,000, and remaining budget is about $1.5 million. Planned work in the next 2 weeks, additional installations of drip irrigation systems for homeowners. They also hope to find more homes interested in laundry to landscape gray water installations. They're saying it can be challenging to find residents with the needed setup, which is position of laundry machine next to an exterior wall, etc., to make this work. And lastly, planning their first water catchment pilot project to develop best practices and staff capacity. Who's next? Oh.
Good evening. My name is Lorena Castillo, and I'm the Executive Director for Groundwork Richmond. And our project is Bosque del Barrio, and we're planting trees in our 3 neighborhoods. So we've planted about 82 trees to date. And in October, we had our annual Arbor Day celebration, which is our big volunteer program where volunteer and community members come and help us plant trees. This year was out Southside Park. We planted 25 trees. We had over 45 volunteers, and a bunch of our community members were there to help support that event. So it was a really successful event. And we've hired a new urban forestry field foreman to help support our urban forestry efforts. So to date, we've had about $100,000 spent, and we have a little under $1 million left. We are preparing for another volunteer event on MLK Day in January. We are continuing to maintain the Greenway, and we are currently hiring a grant administrator.
Okay, Urban Tilt project number 2. ADA accessible garden. Work completed since last meeting. The permit is ready and just needs to be sent to the city of Richmond. 2-year planting plan for the ADA garden based on anticipated users' feedback. Total expenditures to date around $46,000. The remaining budget is around $900,000. Planned work in the next 2 weeks, permit review, and start conversation with a construction company to provide cost estimates for the project. Orchard for All, work completed since last meeting, created a checklist for fruit tree care. They made a new flyer to better intake fruit tree care. Created a harvesting document, participated in Arbor Day. Registered 4 more people for the project area for tree care. Total expenditures to date of approximately $85,000. And the remaining budget is a little over 1 million. Planned work in the next 2 weeks, prepared for the fruit tree giveaway order for 2025. Update intake documents for 2025, and it's weird to say 2025. Canvas, Santa Fe, and intake home inspection to new recipients. All right, last one, VigRx. Work completed since the last meeting. We have added 15 new members to our bag delivery from event signups. We began climate health promoters training cohort number 2. And hosted 3 climate-friendly diet events. That was at Arbor Day and climate-friendly diet workshop at Shields Nursing Center and Richmond Police Department Cops and Goblins event. That was a big success. Total expenditures reported to date about $400,000, and remaining budget is around $2.8 million. Planned work in the next 2 weeks. Plan our final climate-friendly diet workshop for the year. Fill the remaining spots on our weekly deliveries from event signups and the Climate Health Promoters graduation, which is on Saturday.
For the voucher system, well, for folks who are joining us for the first time, the hubs have been installed in the project area, so this work has been completed. However, our partner, right today, Salma, who's joining us here over there, she's been coordinating the outreach and distribution of vouchers to increase community awareness and knowledge. And the total expenditure of this project up to date is $456,000, and remaining is $500,000, $542,000. Plan in the next 2 weeks is complete the invoicing and payment process for the current period of the services that we received from today. And a meeting with the team of today and the City of Richmond staff for our weekly, for our monthly check-in, where we coordinate information and data. And if you're interested, Sam is here to tell you more about the project, and we are here to share with you any other information that you need. I'm going to share a little bit of the community engagement plan, and I'm going to share the microphone with Gabby, who works for the for the Rich City Lights team, and who's working on the Youth Fellow programs and you will hear from her later today. So the work completed since our last meeting related to the city is we reviewed most of the documents that Gabby created, and we also began the development of a process for a Richmond Rising newsletter to inform residents of projects, updates, and highlights. In previous meetings, we have been discussing that we needed a way to coordinate the information that we have throughout the Richmond Rising projects. And so we started that draft, and we're currently working on how to complete the process to be able to include all the information from this team and how do we share it with the community. We also attended the Santa Fe Iron Triangle and Coronado neighborhood councils. Matias and myself attended all of those meetings so we could share with them all the events that are happening, as well as information on the programs. And we also provided information to our reporter from who was writing an article about Richmond Rising for the San Francisco Business Times. So I'm going to share the mic with Gabby so she can talk a little bit about the work that she's been doing.
In terms of the youth fellow program, like I mentioned last meeting, I'm having to review the contract and all the further documents for the youth fellow program. I finally just got final feedback. So I just have to go in and just make final edits to finally submit the final documentation for that. Like Rich was mentioned, I finally submitted all of the modules and trainings for the youth fellow program, which was listening to me very soon about what those modules are and what the trainings will cover. And so now that I finally received the feedback, again, I just have to finish those final edits to submit for review. And yeah, after this meeting, towards the end of the year, beginning of the next year, we're going to begin recruiting as well.
Thank you, Gabby. And for people who are joining us today, if you have kids in your family, young people in your family who are from 16 to 24, you'll be very interested on the presentation that Gabby is doing later today. Displacement avoidance plan. So the work completed and since last meeting is the Community Development Department submitted an application for a partnership for the Bay's Future Housing Fellow to support this project, and a fellow was actually assigned for the City of Richmond, who's going to be working on the policies that we're still missing to create and work on. And so we also on the ADA toolkit. We incorporated the design review board feedback into the architectural design styles, and including the design guidance on the 3 additional architectural styles that are going to be included, so people can build their ADUs with the style that they want. We coordinated with a structural engineer to submit 50% permit set for the city review. I know this is very technical language, but it just means we are checking in with the city. So once you apply to get your ADU or to build your ADU, the plans are available for you. But we're going through a process that we would make anyone go through, so that once you apply, the plans that you have are pre-approved. So you don't have to go through the building team to get those plans approved for people who are joining us here in the table and in the audience. We supported and interviewed candidates on the event and marketing consultant for the bilingual campaign. So we have now we're in the process of getting a provider for this work, and we drafted and released a request for proposals and clarifications for a software service provider to administer the rewards and bilingual platform to comply with the city procurement processes. So basically, we're going to have a program where if people buy in local businesses, we'll provide rewards. But this is all an online system that is being created so that all businesses can provide their information, and residents can also get access to this point. Total expenditures reported to date, $119,000. Remaining budget, $562,000. The work for plan in the next 2 weeks is to work on the scope for the future housing fellow of Bay. Sorry, this is in Spanish. That was my mistake because I was translating this into the Spanish presentation. And then the city is going to continue reviewing the permitting kit for the AE toolkit. So that should be completed by the end of the year. And you'll hear from us in relationship to this, because we want to host a workshop with community members so that we can hear if the toolkit is useful. It's going to include costs, it's going to include plans, it's going to include all the process, so that anyone who owns a home in the project area or anywhere in the city can use the plans that we are providing for free to community members. I'm going to talk just a little bit about workforce development and share what Grid Alternatives has shared with us. So today we completed our workforce development planning session. Thanks to everyone who joined us today, this morning. It's been a long day since we were here since 8 o'clock in the morning. And we're going to be including all the feedback from the workforce planning session today into the report that we're supposed to create. And then on the next CSC meeting, we will be hearing from the consultants who are working with us, so we'll get a final input on the report and our plan for the next year. I'm going to let Ambassador share the information from Grid Alternatives.
Thank you. So for good alternatives, last 2 weeks, we had a solar instructor preparation, including, receiving CPR instruction, certification, learning IDP 200 curriculum, and labs. Also, we have had, preparation of training space for solar training program, including purchasing necessary classroom tools, supplies, and materials for lab space. Total expenditures today are $33,563.02. The remaining budget is $1.4 million. Planning over the next 2 weeks includes feedback from the workforce planning session into the report, and good alternatives is coordinating in the affiliate office for training shadowing.
Hi, everyone. Buenas tardes a todos. My name is Anita Bruno. I'm the lead for UC Berkeley. And our team has begun drafting the year one evaluation report. We've gathered data and metrics from the deliverables that all project partners have been submitting and progress reports. We updated budget models for projects and generated a tree canopy map and project-specific maps to show progress that has been made during year one. And we've been working on updating our case studies. Our budget remains to be updated because we're still having conversations about that. And in the next 2 weeks, we're hoping to share the data collection tool that we've kind of filled in with all of the data we could collect with all of you to ensure that the data we gathered is accurate and fill in any gaps that remain. Thanks everyone for sharing the status reports. I am going to open first to for any questions that the community has. Are there any questions related to the reports that we just heard from every partner? Comments, questions? Follow up? No one on the table, committee members, no? Yeah, you can tell. Let me give you because otherwise it doesn't go very far.
Yeah. Just sharing my curiosity from, so, I was curious what the IBT 200 curriculum is.
Thank you so much. It's installation basics training, which is the basic training that Grid offers, which includes about 200 hours of instruction and 2 weeks of basically being in the classroom, sort of like a lecture setting, and then followed by 2 other weeks of being in the field on top of rooftops with our construction team, learning how to install solar and the basics of it. You're very welcome.
Any other questions from committee members in this table? Okay, I'm gonna open up for questions for the community, so sorry. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Curtis. I did not see your hand, I apologize.
Hello, my name is Curtis. I was just wondering, because the United States is getting ready to change administrations, is there going to be a problem with perhaps getting supplies like solar supplies? Because we know that this administration is not climate friendly. So I was just wondering if there might be not only Greenwood, but some of the other services that we sponsor.
I think this question is for you.
Well, directly for us, luckily we know, in terms of acquiring materials needed, and especially luckily knock on wood in terms of the grants that Grid has already received this year. We are on par to just continue. The threat is just within this next administration, other resources becoming available. But for now, we're really secure. We've done this work with the same administration prior and worse. And so luckily, we are on par to just continue doing the work as scheduled. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the question and thanks for the response. Any other questions on the committee? No, further. And I'm gonna open up for residents and people who are joining us today. Do you have any questions, any follow-up questions to what you heard today? ¿Hay alguna pregunta que tengan ustedes para las personas que manejan los proyectos después de la presentación que escucharon? Si quieren decirlo en español, yo puedo con mucho gusto traducir sus preguntas.
En español para, porque quizás el vocabulario no, ok.
Quiero entender un poco más acerca de entonces estaba tratando de buscar en Google qué significa específicamente para poder entender y hacer el proyecto, porque lo que entendí, mi pregunta es para que digamos los propietarios de la ciudad de Richmond específicamente a sus representantes, se podría hacer un proyecto de esa magnitud para ambas partes.
¿Me puede recordar su nombre? Oh, no.
Gracias, Nora. Nora is asking if we can provide her with more information about what exactly the Grid Alternatives project is about. But specifically, she wants to know if it would be possible to work with multifamily units to provide support to renters who can get access to lower fees for their energy bills.
So at present, we install solar for low-income families, throughout the country, mainly in California and the like, at no cost. We also have, training programs and the like. Some regions a lot more active than others. For our current DA office, our training programs, the most active ones are within this TCC programs and the like. And the second part of the question was?
If we can provide to multifamily units for renters.
At present, our office, we're exploring that opportunity because there is availability to to install solar for some renters, but not at the multi-family capacity. It's basically so if you know, a landlord owns a home or you live in a home that somebody else owns with their permission, we do have some avenues to install solar. However, that process we're still exploring and we haven't done one project yet. So it's up for just like review, but it's only at the single family capacity. We have a multi-family program, but I'm not involved in that and I don't have a lot of information to give you at the moment, sorry. Thank you.
¿Hay alguna otra pregunta del público que quieran hacer?
El programa este de paneles solares solamente es para propietarios de casa, para las personas que rentamos.
She wants to know if the alternatives program is only for homeowners or could it be used also for renters?
It's primarily for homeowners, for renters, if we can get permission from the homeowner as well, whoever owns it, whoever they rent it from, it is possible as well. But that is just the tricky part. It's normally income driven. And so for the most part, it's low income driven. However, with TCC, we're able to look at the incomes of both the owner and the renter and able to go with whichever is less.
¿Hay alguna otra pregunta que tenga el público? Is there any other question that you guys have?
Uno como arrendatario, ¿qué beneficios tienen los paneles solares?
As renter, what are the benefits if you have solar panels?
If you're renting a home with solar panels, the benefit to you are the cost of your utility bills and the like, whereas Unfortunately, the credits, it would be the owner of the home that gets to enjoy those benefits, but it would be, you'd see reduced bill, you'd be utilizing clean energy and the like. And at present, we are, if you were to be a renter, right now, Grid is also going in the direction of battery storage as well. So with future projects that we have, we're gonna be not only installing solar, we're gonna also be installing batteries as well. All which gives you a lot of opportunity, not only to save on your utility bill, but also to be able to save some of that solar too. It's a new program, and again, we're like working out some kinks, but we have begun to install solar and battery as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Ambassador.
Sí, mi única pregunta es, habiendo muchas personas que rentamos y somos de bajos recursos y tenemos tal vez a nuestro cargo el pago de luz, ¿califica alguna persona de esa solicitud para esa solitaria?
So there are a lot of people here who are renters. Can they qualify to get solar panels if they're renters?
It's on a case by case basis. Again, your landlord would have to sign off on it as well. And in any case, maybe offline, I can speak to anyone who is more interested, as I'm seeing there's a lot of interest here. But it all depends on if you're in the project area, which is Coronado, Santa Fe, and Iron Triangle. And whoever's income that we're using would have to fall within an 80% annual median income, area median income that we use to qualify people who get solar from us.
¿Alguna otra pregunta?
I understand that you guys go based on salaries, right? So what happens to a homeowner whose salary is not like considered low income, but then the mortgage payment is super high? I mean, are there any considerations when it comes to figuring out, like the income and the outcome to see if the person qualifies?
Great question.
Unfortunately, the criteria that we do utilize would be the income. We don't have yet any tools in place to factor in, like, I guess, the take home, but we do have to report like salaries, and we do have to use your tax forms and the like. So unfortunately, it's at this moment, no. So.
Thanks, Ambassador. ¿Alguna otra pregunta? Is there any other question? Okay. I'm going to continue with the next item, and we have a report on community questions or comments received, including responses. So this is just to share, are there any questions that you have heard from the community? Today we heard a fair amount of questions related mostly to solar. Is there any other questions that you have received from community members that are related to Richmond Rising that we can talk about? That you want to share with the community because they're important, or because they might come out in the community? Okay, I'm hearing no questions. We will follow up next on our next meeting to see if there's additional public comments or questions. So I am gonna just go straight forward to committee business items for discussion. So we have today our lady who's presenting on universally accessible garden design presentation. We have Gabby who's presenting Youth Fellows coordination with projects and training. And we have Annie who's presenting on Richmond Wellness Trail sidewalk summary. We have a quick item of rescheduling the January 2025 meeting because it's supposed to happen on January the 1st. And I'm sure nobody wants to join the meeting on that date, including residents and committee members. And I have a request from our chair from UC Berkeley to just quickly talk about the indicators tracking tool. So if it's okay with this group, could we include that item? Is it possible for us to include that item? Would it be okay for the committee to include that? And I will ask someone to help me set a motion for Thank you. Can we get votes for second, 30 seconds that motion, and can we get a quick vote? I'm gonna start from that side. If you can say yes or no, it would be amazing. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, okay. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Everyone agrees to add the other item on the agenda, which is indicators from UC Berkeley team. So I'm gonna give the microphone to who's gonna be first? Universally accessible garden, so sharing the microphone right now with
Hey, everybody. First of all, I would like to share that I'm really grateful to be part of the Accessible Gardening outreach. And in general, just be part of this project. And I'm Our Lady Santos with Urban Tail. I'm a community organizer, and for the past 2 years, right, since 2023, almost 2 years, first year, we collaborated a lot with the back from our community, and we had so special because we open to the community, of course, but in specific for seniors and disabled groups that were giving us exactly what they need and sharing what is for real accessible. In 2024, that was early this year, we finished with the Women's celebration, and we were planning the planting and activities. So, in total, we had over 9 design sections. We collected over 100 feedbacks from the community, and right now we are just waiting for the permits get approved, and then 2025 soon we will have our construction phase started. And we are so happy to be in this exactly where we are right now, because it's getting so often that I'm getting emails from the members of our community saying about the accessible garden and when this will be done. Disabled members from our community are so anxious to see this garden here, because we don't have any accessible garden around. If you're a senior or if you're a disabled member in our community, you know. So we are excited to be here. We're excited to arrive where we are, and I hope to see you all at our construction phase, so we can celebrate together the accessible garden. Thank you.
Thanks, lady. I want to open up for questions in the community. Do we have any questions for Our Lady in relationship to the universally accessible garden design presentation? Committee members? Okay. Are there any questions in the public related to universally accessible garden design presentation today? ¿Alguna pregunta para Our Lady sobre este tema?
¿Dónde va a estar ubicado este jardín?
Where's the garden located? That's Unity Park.
Yeah, the accessible garden is so close from here. Walking will be less than 10 minutes. And it is on the Richmond Green Trail. If you place on your GPS 1605 Ohio Avenue, you arrive at Unity Park. Next to the Unity Park, we have a edible forest. And next to this edible forest, will be exactly where the accessible garden will be.
Certainly. And there was something like that, is there any other questions from the public? Seguras. Okay. I'm gonna continue with Richmond Rising Youth Fellow Program, and I'm gonna share the microphone with Gabby, who's coming from Rich City Rights team.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gabriela Zacarias. I'm with Rich City Rights, and I'm the Richmond Rising Youth Fellow Project Manager. And I'm here to promote and talk a little bit about the program. So we can hopefully begin recruitment. If you can go ahead and press the next slide. Thank you. So the Youth Fellow Program falls under our community engagement plan. So when we have the updates, as we hear updates, we'll just talk a little bit about it. The Youth Fellow Program members fall within this community engagement plan. The Richmond Youth Fellow Program is an annual fellowship for the youth in Richmond. The youth program will be overseen by me, which is Rich City Rides, as well as the city's TCC coordinator, which is Marias. So some of the things that the program needs to accomplish is provide mentorship and training to the youth by Richmond Rising and community partners. They'll be able to get these trainings at the beginning of the program for orientation, as well as by being part of these different projects throughout the year. Another thing that the program aims to accomplish is involve Richmond youth and helping lead engagement for Richmond Rising projects to ensure that TCC implementation reflects the community's needs. I'll go over the reason why this piece is so important is because the youth either live or study in the project area. So they're the ones that are moving the community and what's going on. So in this program, we use all of the necessary skills and tools to be able to enter the workforce in the future. And again, a little bit the modules and trainings include and the topics that the youth fellow will be going over. And most importantly, all of the projects are kind of everything, and so that's a very big topic that the youth will be discussing. Thank you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about modules and trainings that the youth will be covering. So most importantly, the youth will be covering 4 different modules. The first module will talk about climate equity. So this module aims to provide information on what climate equity is and how climate affects different communities and people differently. Module 2 aims to provide information about the different Richmond Rising projects and plans since there will be different projects. Module 3 and with the community members, with projects and events. Module 4 highlights organizing and showcases community organizing and the importance of activism.
Now, in terms of the trainings, there are 3 trainings. Training one really highlight what, in a sense, I wish that schools, at least high schools, would show this to you before graduating high school, just because the topics that are going to be covered in training one, which I'll get to in just a moment, I feel like are really important to know before you have your first job. I think for many of us, for a couple of years, these skills are things that you start to develop and acquire over time. And not only we talk about these things, but I think that it's really important for you to know and to have these skills before they enter the workforce. So some of the topics that will be covered in training one is just discussing the different types of dress code. What is appropriate to wear for a school meeting, or what is appropriate to wear for a presentation. Everything is, it's very different, right? Those are things that are not really discussed in school, unless your school has a uniform, then usually they'll tell you the importance of the difference between casual and business casual. So these are all topics that we'll be talking about. The importance of time management skills, public speaking skills, adaptability, empathy, because they are going to be working within the community, talking with the community. So it's really important to empathize with what community members are saying when they're expressing their concerns or opinions. They will also be learning different types of leadership skills, communication skills, organization, and I think most importantly, the difference between soft skills and hard skills. Training 2 and 3 really dives more into the program and more the logistics of the program. So in training 2, what we're learning things about just procedure, the clocking in and out. They will be going over the expectations, because we're part of different projects and community events. It's really important for them to be able to document and share these things with you guys at the CSC meeting since they will be attending. And training 3, they're really getting more hands-on experience by practicing their elevator persons again. They will be totally doing more in the community. It's really important for them to get a hands-on experience of to practice with each other, make mistakes, ask questions. Lastly, again, we're going to be practicing tabling, practicing setting up for hosting a bike, and practicing doing mock interviews. One of the responsibilities which will allow for in just a minute is doing interviews. So it's really important for them to be able to practice those. And it's just a good skill to have as well. Now, some of the federal responsibilities would be attending trainings and orientation, which were the modules and trainings that I previously went over, attending project and community meetings, hosting community libraries, doing one-on-one resident interviews, hosting informational table at different communities, supporting any of the Richmond Rising projects, communication and outreach. Again, the Youth Level Program is under our community engagement plan. And so everything that we do really has to do with outreach and promoting all the great things that are happening within these projects. And as well as attending the COC meeting, there are going to there are two voting seats available for them once we do recruit them in our committee. So what do we offer? So the Youth Level Program, again, it's an annual program, and it is a career internship. The Youth Level will be able to work up to 10 hours in a month, and they'll be able to receive a stipend of $250. And because we're working a limited amount of hours, it does offer that flexibility for a flexible work schedule. It also offers different networking opportunities, because there's different projects and different partners involved. It definitely does allow them to be able to network with different organizations. It also allows them to have some type of work experience before having another job.
Although we're receiving training and mentorship to enhance those professional skills by doing direct work. Transit monthly bus pass. Now, what is the eligibility to be able to apply to this program? The age requirement is from 16 to 24. So if you are 16 and 17, you are able to apply for it within the IU school. And study in the project neighborhoods, which is Iron Triangle, Coronado, and Santa Fe neighborhoods. And just really the enthusiasm and willingness to learn and be part of your community. And even if you think that you don't meet all of these requirements, we still are encouraging you to apply anyways. And with that, we're gonna move on to the next slide. And these questions are really for our partners, but I also invite the community to kind of just also keep these in mind. And if you think of any ways that our youth can be impacted in different ways that you envision you promoting these projects, I also invite those ideas as well. And I will share my contact information after the presentation. But for the partners, as we begin recruitment and as we begin hiring early in the beginning of 2025, these are just some questions that I want you to think about. I have met with some of you in terms of how do you envision you in your projects and how do you envision you doing outreach for your projects. So I have an idea, but I do want the rest of you to kind of have these questions in hand. So how do you envision your organization collaborating with Richmond Rising Youth Fellows in 2025? What type of activities could your organization offer them? So besides the responsibilities that youth fellows already have to deliver, what other ways are there for you to engage with your projects and with your community? And for those activities be done in 10 hours per month. Again, the youth fellows are only working 10 hours a month. So just thinking about how we're able to fulfill that responsibility in that time frame. And also what type of learning would the activities offer them? And next slide, again, you are welcome to scan that QR code, and I will also share a flyer in the next slide. But if you have any information, if you know anybody that's between 15 to 24 that wants to be able to have some skills of involved in the community, share their ways, I really encourage you to share this with your friends, with your neighbors. Especially as a parent, you're picking your kids up at school, please talk about it with the teacher, with everybody. I will be here if you want to ask me any questions afterwards. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you, Gabby, for sharing this information. So I'm gonna first ask to the table before we start the conversation about the activities. Are there any questions for Gabby in relationship to this program? And committee members, any questions or comments? No, I'm hearing no questions for now. So I'm going to open up to the community, but in the meantime, I ask the partners just to think if there's anything that you already have in mind, and we can start this conversation with Gabby since she's already here. And if you do not have an answer today, but you want to meet with her, please make sure that before you leave today, just give your contact information if she doesn't have it already, and set up a meeting with her so we can have this conversation on a separate meeting. So, voy a abrir las preguntas hacia el público. ¿Tienen ustedes alguna pregunta sobre el programa que Gaby acaba de presentar? Does anyone have any questions in relationship to the program that Gaby just presented on? Preguntas? The 10 hours for the is it year?
Buenas noches. Mi pregunta es, ¿dónde o con quién puedo dirigirme para más información?
She's asking who can she contact if we need more information. Yeah, if you want more information about this program, you can either reach my email listed in the other slide in just a minute. But you are able to scan the QR code that's on the screen. It takes you to a questionnaire where you're able to submit your contact information. I'm able to email you more information about the program, and when the application for the youth development program comes out, I'm also able to share that with you. So please, if you want more information or want to stay up to date with any Richmond Rising youth development program, please scan that QR code and fill in the form for more information or email me. Para todas las personas que hablan español, hoy les quiero compartir que Gaby también habla español, así que pueden también acercarse a ella y hacerle sus preguntas en español. ¿Hay alguna otra pregunta? Is there any other question in the public? Are you gonna share the information with the youth in your families, neighborhoods? Thanks, everyone. Sí, por favor, si pueden compartir esta información con la gente joven en su casa, en sus vecindarios, se los agradeceríamos mucho.
This is actually a question for the audience, and we are trying to do the best job we can with engaging everyone. Can everyone raise their hand if you know how to use a QR code?
¿Quién sabe usar el QR code? ¿Quién no sabe usarla? Nunca podemos levantar la mano nada más para saber cómo podemos mejorar y qué necesitamos hacer. Okay. Muchas gracias. Okay. I'm just giving a second for people to scan the QR code and then we'll continue. So I just want to go back to Gabby's questions and just can we get a sense from the partners who are here today, and if anyone could let us know if you envision collaborating with this program in 2025. You don't have to commit to anything, you just want to know, have a sense of how many projects can we involve for the next cohort. Great alternatives. Yeah, GRX too. Do you think would that be just for the GRX or other? Okay. Sounds great. Thank you, Sheila.
Maybe.
Just for public land too. Okay. The city of Richmond too. We are already signed up for this too. Okay, no pressure. We just want to let you know that if we want to collaborate in this program, we just need your help to figure out activities that we could provide to young people, and just remind yourselves of when you were coming out from high school or college and what type of work you wanted to do. And let's think about things that are exciting for you so that we don't bore them to death with our bureaucracy. I mean, the city of Richmond, we promise we're going to offer fun activities for youth, but you know, the work that is being done, we understand is very demanding, and we understand that hosting a youth member can be additional work, and we know we this, but we also encourage you to be part of this pipeline that we're trying to prepare within the community to get people ready with other skills and to start figuring out how the workforce in our projects is developing. So yeah, we really appreciate it if you can get that back to Gabby. We'll send Gabby's information on the email that you received with the minutes and everything, but feel free to contact her. Para las personas que nos acompañan en el público, por favor, también les pedimos que si quieren contactar a Gaby, si no escanearon el código, al final de la reunión antes de que se vaya. Okay. Oh, thank you.
So this is for the group here. So many of us offer youth programming and training and workforce development and youth programs. So I'm curious, how everyone's attendance has been, how the participation has been, how the job placement is going. That is something that we're in our third cohort of our workforce development program. And so I just want to get a sense for our partners here to see how fellow workforce developments are working and how recruitment is going. And I guess since we all offer like competitive programs, like we're also just finished recruiting for our 18 to 25, training program. I don't really know like my question here, but my train of thought is like, how do we make it not as competitive and not overwhelm our young people with so many different options? And not that opportunities aren't like good to have. I'm just want to get like a sense for how the group is doing.
Thanks, Lorena. That's a great question, and I think we should definitely coordinate on dates and objectives and figuring out how we make it easy for community members and how we coordinate outreach too, because we're happy to kind of do that together. I don't have any responses for that. I think we would have to check in with Tamara because we have a youth. Yeah. We can definitely do that offline, but I'll let other partners respond. Do you have any answers for that, unless or anyone else who has some youth? I mean, I guess it's Urban Till and Big City Rights too. I was saying, right, we have a school program manager that connects with different high schools and different schools in the community. When connecting with principals in different high schools, that is a variety internship opportunities and fellowship and volunteer work opportunities. I think across the board from all the schools, they express they would need a lot of like internships that actually prepares them for the workforce. And I think for this specific program in particular, the beginning training orientation does touch a couple of things that I think might to other programs, but really the emphasis of this program is to engage and get talking and involved within the community. So just promoting the different projects that are happening. Different projects and doing those skills software is hard to like that's not what they're going to be learning throughout the year. It's more just an introduction to kind of like show them the different things that they'll be acquiring as they work different jobs. But really the program is more of these different projects at the end of the day have long-term impact. And it's important for them to invite users to the table to also have a say as to what's happening in their community, because those are really big projects that then have that long-term impact. And so like in comparison to other projects, this is something that directly impacts where they live, work, and study.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gavin. But I know we should definitely have this conversation offline so everyone can provide some feedback and we can just some coordination. And I just want to keep us on track because we have 2 more presentations, but I think it's really worth following up.
Yeah, maybe we can have like a meeting like in a year and all the programs that have youth fellowships and things like that can talk about how we might do that better.
Okay, so I'm just going to continue with the agenda, and we are just we're going to make a motion to continue this conversation offline. Yeah, if I can. get someone to second that, it would be amazing, because just, thank you, Shimon. If I can get just a quick vote to continue this conversation offline. A motion to continue the conversation about youth, offline, whether it's on a meeting or follow-up conversation. Shino. And can I get a quick vote from the committee in relationship to that? Can we raise your hand if you agree, so we can do this faster? Sorry. Okay, I have, yeah, we have, everyone is in agreement for this motion. Thank you. I'm trying to keep us on track, because otherwise this is not gonna happen. So I'm gonna share the microphone with Annie from Trust for Public Land, who's gonna tell us a little bit about the Richmond Wellness Trade sidewalk summary that we had a couple of weeks ago.
Thank you. And Annie, good evening again. Just a refresher, the Richmond Wellness Trail is a bicycle and pedestrian trail that's going to connect the downtown BART to the waterfront where the ferry is. And we are working on phase 2 of this project. It's the second mile that starts from Martin Luther King Park on Marina Way South, going all the way to the waterfront. And October 26th, Saturday morning, we did a site walk with the community to get feedback about the project. We were lucky enough to coordinate it with an existing climate health promoters meeting, and many of you are here. So we're really grateful for your participation in that walk. It's a great success to have you there, and then we had a few other people join us as well. The site walk was held in Spanish, and so we had Beatrice and Mateus lead those walks alongside our design consultant team, Placeworks. So thank you to both of you very much for leading that as well. We started off by looking at the phase 1 improvements that have already been done on Marina Way South, and getting feedback about that, and taking a look at what it looks like and how it is to walk along that trail, and then walked down towards the water just a few blocks to see where we will be doing the rest of the work, and see how it feels without the improvements there, and what people might want to see. We have not yet summarized all the feedback that we got, and this is in the hands of our design consultant team, Placeworks. But all of the climate health promoters had a journal that they filled out during the walk, and there were certain designated stops to think about certain things. So a few questions about how you generally get exercise. Have you used this trail before? What might make things better for your walk along this second route? And we also looked at concepts for signage and public art, and sort of just a general mood, because we do have a little bit of funding to provide some color to the trail and educational signage. I think that's it, actually, that I wanted to share. We do have some climate health promoters who I think are here. I see some of you in the audience that are continuing their work looking at the Richmond Wellness Trail, and I think reporting on that this weekend. So I'm excited to hear how that goes. And again, thank you to all of you that participated. And do you want to add anything, Beatrice, since you were there? Okay.
Thanks to everyone who attended, and we are excited to hear back from Placeworks once we connect the ideas that you shared with us, and that the consultant team is gonna do in our project. So looking forward to that. Thanks, Annie, for sharing the information about the sidewalk. I am gonna continue to the next item since we don't have any voting in relationship to this. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna open for questions in the committee first. Are there any questions related to the Richmond Wellness Trade sidewalk summary? No? Okay, I'm gonna open it to the public. Are there any comments or questions that you have about the Richmond Wellness Trail walk that we had on October the 26th? ¿Hay alguna pregunta en relación a esta presentación del Richmond Wellness Trail que tuvimos en octubre? ¿Preguntas? Okay. Gracias, con el siguiente item, entonces. I'm going to continue with the next item. So, rescheduling our January 2025 meeting. So for everyone who's part of this committee, we want to ask you, if it's okay for us to reschedule the meeting because, based on our calendar, it's supposed to happen on January the 1st, which is a holiday. So we wanted to offer the opportunity to reschedule it to the 15th of January. You want to say something, Matthias? Let me share the microphone with you. If you have a proposal for a different date, we are also open, but we just thought it was better because of the holidays.
Unfortunately, January 15th, I found out is not available in this room. That's the Iron Triangle Neighborhood Council meeting date. So we can do the 8th or the 23rd.
Thanks for sharing that, Matthias. So it would be either the 8th or the 23rd. So, does this group have any preference? 22nd, sorry. 22nd or the 8th? I thought this was gonna be an easy item.
We were suggesting the 8th, we were originally going to suggest the 15th because there'll be so much going on at the end of December and then the beginning of January is when we're gonna all be doing invoicing. So we were thinking maybe 2 weeks would be good. However, since we can't do 2 weeks, could do 3, we could do 1 and just press it all at the same time. And I suppose we could consider a non-Wednesday also.
Sorry, Lennon.
Are we not having a December meeting? Oh, we are, okay. That was my only question. I'm sorry. I asked if we were having a December meeting, and I guess my only concern with the 22nd is that it's so close to our February meeting, and I guess that's all good. I don't know. That's just the way it is.
And unfortunately, because we have the guidelines from the state that say that we have to meet every month, I would propose to like use the February meeting only, but we have to meet at least once during January, so. Yeah, we would have to choose a date, even if it's a late one, and I agree with you, Logan, it might be a little.
So I guess I suggest the 8th.
The 8th, okay. So, thank you, Curtis. You read my mind. I appreciate that so much. So, there's a motion for the 8th of January. And it gets to second it, and can we get a vote? And I'm gonna ask, folks to raise their hands if they agree with January date. Does it work for you? Yes, I'm seeing agreement on the table, me too. Yes, okay, so we have agreement from everyone except for the member who's absent, which is Tomasa Espinosa. We will let everyone know, but we have God, my brain is just not working today. I'm so sorry. Full agreement on this rescheduling on January the 8th, not on the 15th. And so once that has been figured out, we have another item that was added to the agenda in request to our test of year one data collection. So I'm going to share the microphone with her, who's coming from UC Berkeley.
Hi again, and thanks for letting us crash the agenda last minute. Less exciting update, I guess, but our team is working on putting together a year one report, trying to capture everything that has been done. And what we've been working on, we had shared like a data collection tool. If you remember what you'll see, sorry that it's a little small, we took one project, it's Orchard for All as an example. We all had at the beginning conversations about the kind of metrics that every project was going to collect or agreed to collect. And what we did on our end to try and facilitate the process was kind of look through all of the deliverables, the progress reports that you submitted, and try to gather as much of that data that we could. And what we are hoping now will happen is to share those tables with you. So just giving you a heads up, tomorrow you should be receiving an email from me, and I'll be reaching out to project leads individually, and I'll be sharing like the Excel spreadsheet relevant to your project. So hopefully no confusing like big spreadsheets with everybody's numbers on it. And we have listed kind of like our asks
this is what you will see. You'll see the indicators to the left, any kind of like suggested edits that we are recommending based on what we learned during this first year. For example, orchard for all, at some point we had thought that would be a good idea to specify the kind of tree types. We have realized year one that we just need one big number of all of the trees that have been given away. We don't need to know how many are apples versus, I don't know. And so we have a column with our notes where we're asking you, do you agree with the change that we're proposing? And then in green, there's a space for you to say, yes, we agree, and the number that you're putting is correct versus we actually planted more trees or less trees than you are currently reporting here. We try to list whenever possible where we got the information from so that it's easier for you to figure out, like, oh, Orchard for All had like a report where they said how many trees they reported. This is what we're basing this information on. If it's not correct, please let us know by writing that in that column. And then just let us know if like all of your data is correct by checking that and done. I guess you're done with the information is accurate and it looks good so that we know that it's ready to be pasted into the report. I just wanted to kind of do a vibe check, like we said, and see if that is all clear and if it makes sense and if there's any questions on the process from our project leads. I'm seeing nods, wonderful. I'll be streaming the email tomorrow. Thanks so much for taking the time to provide your updates with us. And thanks for letting us be on the agenda.
Of course, thank you so much, Alicia. So, for our next meeting, to your question, Lorena, we are having a December meeting, which is happening on a regular schedule, which is December, I believe, the 4th. And we are opening agenda requests for next meeting. Is there anyone who wants to get on the agenda for our next meeting? This includes committee members who are residents or project leads. So anyone or anyone who's part of the project leads teams can also join the next meeting agenda. Is there any proposal for next meeting? Anyone who has not presented who would like to present on the next meeting? Reach out anyway with the questions related to the agenda, as we usually do 10 days before we publish it, but just wanted to open this space. I want to open this space also for community members. Is there any topic that you want us to include in the agenda that you haven't heard about? I know this is your first meeting for a lot of you, so still open to the community. Voy a decir esto en español también para las personas que nos acompañan hoy por primera vez. ¿Algún tema que a ustedes les gustaría saber que podemos incluir en la agenda para nuestra siguiente reunión? Pero uno de los aspectos que se incluyó fue que están haciendo los proyectos cuando con la nerviosa, la nerviosa activa, están observando eso, tienen Nora is asking if we can report on, connected to the Richmond Wellness Trail walk that we had, if we can report on maintenance of the trails, because that's something that they're interested in, and that was a comment that we received as feedback on I'm going to answer this in Spanish and then I'm going to answer it in English. Podemos invitar a la gente de la pública de la ciudad, que es quien se encarga del mantenimiento de los trails, y pedirles que presenten. Entonces voy a hacer yo esa conexión, voy a tratar de ver si ellos están disponibles el 4 de diciembre, pero si no, de todas maneras nosotros podemos hacer agendarla tal vez para el principio del año siguiente, pero gracias por el comentario. So I was telling Nora that we can reach out to the Public Works team who does the maintenance of the trail, so they can come in and report on that, and we'll make that connection. I'm not exactly sure if they can join us on December the 4th, but we'll make that follow up with them. And even if you're not able to join us in the meeting, we'll post it on the presentation. So si no nos puede acompañar en la siguiente reunión, lo que podemos hacer es de todas maneras queda capturado en nuestras presentaciones. Entonces usted puede entrar a la presentación y ver qué fue lo que presentaron. Y nosotros también publicamos la reunión de Zoom en inglés y en español que Leti nos hace favor de traducir. So, okay, yes.
This is not an agenda request, just a reminder that next meeting will be reviewing community nomination, community seat nominations again, and also an invitation from everyone in the public. If anyone's interested in being a part of this committee, we have an application online and a paper form that you can submit to be reviewed at the next meeting. We review every 2 meetings, and yeah.
Repito lo que dijo Matías, para las personas que estén interesadas en unirse al comité, por favor, en la siguiente reunión nosotros revisamos aplicaciones, así que si ustedes quieren aplicar, envíen su aplicación antes de esa reunión para que podamos revisarla y votarla aquí en el comité. So I'm going to go with the last piece of the meeting, which is general announcements. I want to let you know that this Saturday at 2 p.m., just after your graduation, which is happening right here, we are hosting the Neighborhood Complete Streets Town Hall. That means we are bringing the engineers from the city and we are inviting our consultants who are working on this project to hear from your experience walking and biking in Ohio Avenue and Harbor Way. So I apologize, is that correct? I'm mixing projects maybe. No, yeah, Harbor Way and Ohio. So if you have any feedback that you haven't provided to them, please join us. Voy a decir esto en español porque creo que es muy importante. El sábado, después de la grabación que tienen los Climate Hub Promoters aquí en Nevin Community Center, tenemos un town hall a partir de las 12 de la tarde. Entonces, si nos quieren acompañar, vamos a estar aquí de 12 a 2. Pueden llegar a la hora que quieran, vamos a estar aquí. And I'm going to share the microphone with Montserrat, who has an update, and we have we're also providing an update with. I'll give you the microphone, Matías.
Hello, my name is Montserrat, however you want to say it. Basically, I just had kind of like wanted to share a study that some people from UCSF, I had an internship with them, so they asked me to basically share a study that they're doing. Basically, the study's on with specifically community-based organizations, trying to see how they're responding to health impacts from wildfire smoke and extreme heat. They're just looking for any like organizations who are interested in participating in the study. I think I said on a flyer, I'm not sure if it got to everyone because I only had 6 copies. Yeah, it was this flyer. If you don't have it, I can try emailing it to you. I don't have a lot of information because I'm not like directly involved in it. I'm just like relying on information. But yeah, if you're interested, you can email them and they'll let you know more information.
You'll receive an email. Montserrat is going to help me draft an email for all of you so we can share it with you and you can have more information about this. We'll share that with you. And I'm going to share the microphone with Matías so he can tell you about very fun stuff related to for audit.
Yes, we will be doing a review of the audit documentation for everyone. So this would be like, for example, when you submit for the invoices, what we require for payment is just the timesheet summaries for most of you. But we also do kind of sort of require the payroll documentation. When I say sort of, I mean, we do require it, but we haven't been checking it because it's kind of the second level of requirement. So now what we're going to be doing is going back over all of the invoices, looking at all of the costs you submitted and making sure there's appropriate audit documentation for each one of the costs submitted. And when I say we, I mean, and then I will be reaching out, I'll be doing it with help from our teammate Amanda, but we will be then reaching out to ask you to send us that documentation. So we're telling you now, it's kind of a soft letdown. But obviously we're always around to help and we'll be patient and supportive, but yeah, coming up soon.
For people who are part of the community, residents who want to know why are we talking about this topic, because we are receiving a big amount of money from the state, we are working on keeping all our documents very updated in case we get an audit from the state or from anyone else. And that means we keep records of each and every activity timesheet that this group works on. So this is also transparency for the purposes of you being able to see how we use the money, being able to know how the different projects are advancing, and also being accountable to the state with the money that they have provided to us. So just a quick explanation, because this is a very bureaucratic topic, but we wanted to know why we're addressing it, because we're trying to keep these documents ready instead of going back 5 years if we get audited at the end and then trying to figure out, who was the one who spent this money on this X or Y expense, and then trying to get back in time where people probably do not remember, or some we have new staff that has not participated in the process. So yeah, just general announcements. So I'm gonna open up. Is there any other general announcement in this table for committee members that you want to share with the rest of the CSE and residents? Okay, I'm seeing none. Is there anyone in the community who wants to share any updates or any events or anything that you want to invite us to?
¿Me da permiso? So, lo único que quiero decir es que ellos son toda la generación que se va a graduar el 16 por la mañana, de las 10 a, no, perdón, de 11 a 12, son bienvenidos. La generación es en español. Si usted entiende español y quiere venir, está bien, pero si no, ella nos ayuda. Mentira.
For anyone who wants to join this group that is here and joining us today, will be graduating on Saturday from 11 to 12. So you're all welcome. It's going to be a Spanish cohort, so everything is going to be in Spanish. But even I'm saying that I'm going to do interpretation. Hopefully, we get someone with that. But everyone is welcome. Thanks so much for joining us today. I really appreciate your attendance, both public and community members. My name is Guerrero, and we are, Matias is over there, and we are the Richmond Rising team from the city. Please reach out if you have any questions or comments, and thank you so much for being here tonight.